No way. I wasn't in my sister's wedding.
Excluded from my sister Olivia's wedding, I booked a trip to Hawaii. When her perfect day fell apart, suddenly everyone needed me. I was sitting alone in my apartment in downtown Seattle when my phone buzzed. My name is Daniel Carter, 32. Tall, lean, quiet by nature. People say I look calm, dependable. That's because I've spent most of my life being exactly that, the one who stays, who fixes, who doesn't complain. Because in my family, that's how you earn your place. I opened the message. Hey, the guest list is finalized. We had to make some tough decisions. Hope you understand. Love you. Olivia. I read it again. Tough decisions? I wasn't just anyone. I was her brother. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. I've always been the easy one, the one who doesn't make things complicated. While others argued, I kept the peace. While others needed help, I gave it. Not because I had to, because I thought that's what family meant, but moments like this, they make you question everything. Olivia Carter, 35, my older sister, auburn hair, confident smile, the kind of presence that fills a room. People love her instantly. She's bold, impulsive, and used to getting her way. Growing up, she was the priority. I was the backup plan. She made mistakes, I cleaned them up, and somehow, that became our dynamic. I called my mom, Linda Carter, mid-60s, elegant, composed, always concerned with how things look from the outside. Hey, sweetheart, she said warmly. I'm not invited, I replied. A pause, then a sigh. Oh, Daniel, it's just a wedding. Don't make this into something bigger than it is. Just a wedding. I'm her brother. They had to keep it small. I opened Instagram. Olivia had just posted. Champagne glasses, bridesmaids, smiles everywhere. Caption, finalizing our dream guest list. Over 100 people tagged. So much for small. You're overreacting, my mom added. That was the moment something inside me shifted. 3 years ago. Olivia sat across from me, tears in her eyes, student loans, bills, panic. I don't know what to do, Dan. I didn't hesitate. I paid half. No discussion, no conditions, because that's what I do. I show up, even when no one shows up for me. My phone buzzed again. Mark Reynolds, 33, broad-shouldered, direct, brutally honest. The kind of friend who tells you the truth even when you don't want to hear it. Told you, he texted. They only call when they need you. Mark had been saying that for years. I just never wanted to believe him. I looked at Olivia's post one last time. Perfect life, perfect smiles, no space for me, and suddenly, everything became clear. It wasn't about the wedding, it was about where I stood, and for the first time in my life, I stopped trying to earn a place I was never given. I didn't call my mother back. I didn't text Olivia. For the first time, I did nothing, and somehow that felt louder than anything I could have said. I sat at my kitchen counter, phone face down, letting the silence stretch. Normally, I would have tried to fix it, explain, negotiate, make it right. That's who I've always been. But this time, I just let it be. The quiet felt unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, like stepping into a version of myself I didn't recognize yet. I opened my laptop. Flights, hotels, one-way tickets, Hawaii. It wasn't random. It was the kind of place I'd always told myself was too much, too expensive, too unnecessary. But right now, that didn't matter. I clicked through options, heart steady, mind clearer than it had been in years. This wasn't just a trip, it was a line, and I was finally drawing it. Now, the next morning I walked into the office. I work at a mid-sized consulting firm, nothing flashy but stable. I've built a reputation there as someone reliable, efficient, always available. Ryan Mitchell, my manager, early 40s, sharp suit, sharper instincts, tall, athletic build, calm but intense eyes. He's the kind of leader who notices more than he says. You look different, he said as I stepped into his office. I'm taking time off, I replied. He studied me for a moment, then nodded slowly. About time. That surprised me. Back at my desk, I opened my inbox. One email stood out. Subject: promotion consideration. senior partner track. I stared at it. Months ago, Ryan had quietly put my name forward. I never followed up, too busy helping Olivia move apartments, too distracted handling family issues. I closed the email. For the first time, I realized what it had cost me. That evening, I met Mark at a bar. He took one look at me and smirked. So, you finally done playing family hero? I exhaled. I booked a flight. His eyebrows shot up. No way. Hawaii. For a second, he just stared, then broke into a grin. About damn time, man. Mark leaned back, shaking his head. You know what this is? This is you, finally choosing yourself. Later that night, I confirmed everything. Flight booked, hotel reserved, one way, no backup plan, no explanation. I looked at the confirmation email glowing on my screen. For years, I had stayed out of duty, out of habit, out of guilt. But now, I was leaving. Not to run away, but to finally be free. The moment I stepped off the plane, something shifted. The air was warmer, softer, carrying the scent of salt and flowers. It felt unreal, like I had stepped out of my life and into someone else's. For the first time in years, there was no expectation waiting for me. I stood outside the airport, letting the ocean breeze hit my face. No calls, no responsibilities, just silence. I checked my phone out of habit. Nothing urgent, nothing demanding. It was strange. My entire life had been built around being needed. And now, no one needed me. Instead of panic, I felt something lighter, relief. The resort was exactly what I imagined, and more. Open space, sunlight flooding through glass walls, the sound of waves always nearby. I dropped my bags and stepped onto the balcony. Endless ocean, no noise from the past. Yeah, I ordered room service without thinking about cost, time, or anyone else's opinion. It felt indulgent, but also deserved. That afternoon, by the infinity pool, I noticed her. Sophia Miller, early 30s, sun-kissed skin, shoulder-length blonde hair, slightly messy from the wind, camera always hanging by her side. She had a relaxed confidence, the kind that comes from living freely. Her eyes were observant sharp, like she saw more than people intended to show. She caught me looking and smiled. "You don't look like someone on vacation," she said. I raised an eyebrow. "What does that mean?" "It means," she shrugged lightly, "you're here, but your mind isn't." We ended up talking. Sophia was a travel photographer, always moving, always chasing moments. No permanent home, no attachments she couldn't walk away from. "You're running from something," she said casually, like it was obvious. I almost denied it, but I didn't. "Maybe," I admitted. She tilted her head, studying me. "Most people don't fly this far unless they're trying to leave something behind." I don't know why I told her. Maybe because she didn't know me. Maybe because she didn't expect anything from me. I told her about Olivia, about the wedding, about always being the one who stayed behind to fix everything. Sophia listened quietly, no interruption. When I finished, she simply said, "Sounds like you were never really seen." That hit harder than I expected. That night, I sat by the beach alone. No phone, no noise, just waves. For once, I wasn't thinking about what I needed to do next. I wasn't planning, fixing, or preparing. I was just there. And in that silence, I realized something. I wasn't lost. I was finally free. I didn't plan to check my phone that night, but something about the silence felt different. Not peaceful like before, tense. Like something had shifted far away and somehow I was about to feel it. My phone lit up. Once, twice, 10 times. Names I hadn't seen in days. Mom, Olivia, unknown numbers, even distant relatives. I frowned, picking it up slowly. This wasn't normal. My family only called like this when something was wrong. Very wrong. A message came through. "Call me. It's urgent." Mom. Another. "Daniel, where are you? Please answer." Olivia. For a moment, I just stared at the screen. Then I opened the group chat. Messages flooded in. Jake Carter, my cousin, late 20s, always loud, always in the middle of drama, had sent a voice note. "Dude, the wedding's a disaster. Ethan walked out, actually left." I blinked. Left? Another message followed, this time from Melissa Carter, Jake's older sister, 34, sharp-minded, observant, the only one in the family who doesn't blindly follow the chaos. It got worse, she typed. Ethan found out about Olivia's debts and the lies. I leaned back slowly. Ethan Walker, 36, tall, clean cut, the kind of man who built his life on structure and control. Financial consultant, disciplined, not someone who tolerated dishonesty. Melissa continued. She never told him how bad it was. Loans, credit cards, even money she borrowed from people, including me. He found out during the reception. Someone told him. I exhaled. So that was it. Another voice message played, shouting in the background. Jake again. Man, it's chaos here. Ethan's parents are furious. Your mom's yelling. Its people are literally arguing in the middle of the venue. I could almost picture it. Perfect decorations, perfect wedding, destroyed in minutes. Then came a message I didn't expect. From my grandmother. Margaret Carter, late 80s, small, frail in appearance, but sharp as ever. She's always been quiet until something crosses a line. Your sister brought this on herself, the text read. You don't treat people like that and expect blessings. A pause, then another message. She should have never excluded you. I stared at the screen longer than I expected. More calls came in, more messages. They needed me now, after everything. I looked out at the ocean, waves moving steadily under the moonlight. For years, I was the one they called to fix things. But tonight, I didn't move. I didn't answer. I just stood there, phone in hand, realizing something simple. They finally felt the chaos I had been carrying for years. I stared at the screen, the waves behind me steady, indifferent. The calls hadn't stopped. If anything, they were getting more desperate. It was almost predictable, like watching a script I had lived through too many times before. My phone buzzed again. This time I answered. Daniel! My mother's voice came through immediately, sharp, strained. Where are you? You need to come back, right now. No, are you okay? No pause, just expectation. I'm in Hawaii, I said calmly. Silence. Then, are you serious? This is not the time for a vacation. Your sister is falling apart. Her tone shifted, softer but heavier. If you had been here, she began. I closed my eyes. There it was. If you had been here, you could have talked to Ethan. You always know how to calm people down. Of course, this was my fault now. I wasn't invited, I said quietly. That's not the point, she snapped. Family shows up when it matters. I let out a slow breath. Funny, so did I. Another call came through. Olivia. I hesitated, then answered. Her voice was broken, raw in a way I had never heard before. Daniel, please, I need you. Olivia Carter, the woman who always seemed untouchable, now sounded small, fragile. But even now there was something familiar beneath it, the expectation that I would fix it. Ethan won't talk to me, she continued. Everyone's blaming me. I don't know what to do. I said nothing, because for the first time, I didn't have an answer ready. My phone buzzed again. Mark. Don't do it, his message read. Don't go back to being their solution. I stared at the words, simple, direct, true. Rough night? Sophia's voice came from behind me. She stepped closer, camera resting against her hip, eyes studying me again like she already knew the answer. They want me to go back, I said. She nodded slightly. Of course they do. I let out a quiet laugh. I'm the one who fixes things. Sophia tilted her head. Do you want to help them? Or are you just afraid they'll hate you if you don't? The question hit harder than anything my family had said, because I didn't know the answer. I looked down at my phone, missed calls, unread messages, expectations waiting for me to step back into the role I had always played, the fixer, the fallback, the one who stays. But now, for the first time, I wasn't sure if I would. The ocean was calm that morning, almost too calm, like it was waiting for me to decide who I was going to be. My phone lay in my hand, still buzzing with missed calls. But for the first time in my life, I didn't feel obligated to answer. I stared at Olivia's last message. Please, Daniel, I need you. I typed slowly, carefully. I can't help you this time. I read it twice. No anger, no explanation, just truth. Then I hit send. The moment the message went through, something inside me shifted. It wasn't relief. Not yet. It was unfamiliar. Like stepping off a ledge and realizing you didn't fall. You just landed somewhere new. The calls came immediately after. Mom, Olivia. Unknown numbers. I watched the screen light up again and again. Then I did something I had never done before. I blocked them. All of them. One by one. Yet the silence that followed wasn't empty. It was peaceful. No expectations. No pressure. Just space. Real space. You actually did it, Sophia said, stepping beside me. She looked impressed, but not surprised. I didn't always have this life, she added quietly. My family, well, wasn't easy either. I glanced at her. She leaned against the railing, eyes distant for a moment. Control, guilt, expectations. It took me years to realize love shouldn't feel like a transaction. She exhaled. So I left. No drama, no bitterness, just a decision. And she never looked back. I thought about her words, about mine, about everything. Maybe it wasn't just about this wedding. Maybe it never was. Maybe it was about years of saying yes when I wanted to say no. Years of being needed instead of being valued. And now, for the first time, I understood the difference. That afternoon, I sat by the beach with a notebook. I hadn't written anything personal in years, but the words came easier than I expected. I was never the problem. I just stayed too long, line after line, thought after thought. Not for anyone else, just for me. The sun began to set, casting gold across the water. No calls, no messages, no chaos, just the sound of waves and my own breath. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. The next morning, I turned my phone back on, not out of obligation, but curiosity. The silence I had created was still there, but the aftermath of everything had started to surface. Notifications flooded in, but fewer this time. Not frantic, just scattered. The urgency had shifted into something heavier. I opened a message from Melissa. It's bad. No one's fixing this. They're just dealing with it. I could picture it. No more calling me to clean things up. No more quick solutions. Just consequences. For once, they were on their own. Another message followed, this time with screenshots. Olivia's social media. Comments turned cold. Invitations withdrawn. Friends, people who once surrounded her, now distancing themselves. Didn't know she lied like that. That's messed up. The perfect image she had built for years. It was falling apart in public, and there was no one left to cover it. Later, Melissa sent a voice note. Ethan finally talked, she said. I leaned back, listening. He said Olivia always depended on you. That every time things got hard, you stepped in. He thought she was independent, but she wasn't. I exhaled slowly. Ethan had seen it too. He said he didn't leave because of the debt, Melissa added. He left because she lied, and because he realized she was never going to stand on her own. There was one voicemail I hadn't listened to yet, from my mother. I hesitated, then pressed play. Her voice was quieter than I had ever heard it. Daniel, I think we were wrong. A pause. I was wrong. I sat still. I shouldn't have dismissed you. I didn't realize how much we've been asking from you, without giving anything back. The message ended there. No excuses, just truth. Another message came through. Olivia, short, simple. I understand now. No demands, no panic, no expectation. Just those 3 words. For the first time, it didn't feel like she was asking for something. It felt like she was seeing something. I looked out at the ocean again. Nothing had changed here, but everything had changed back home. Not because I fixed it, but because I didn't, and somehow that made all the difference. The flight back to Seattle felt different from the one that took me away. I wasn't running anymore. I wasn't escaping. I was returning with clarity, with boundaries, and with a version of myself I had never allowed to exist before. When I stepped out of the airport, the air felt colder, sharper, but I didn't shrink into it like I used to. My phone stayed silent in my pocket. No rush to call, no need to explain myself. For the first time, coming back didn't mean going back to who I was. I didn't go to my parents' house. Instead, I drove to a small apartment I had arranged before leaving, minimal, quiet, mine. No expectations lived here. No roles to play. Just space. Real space. I set my bag down and stood there for a moment, realizing I finally had a place that didn't depend on anyone else's approval. She showed up 2 days later. Olivia looked different. No makeup, hair tied back, eyes tired. Smaller somehow, not physically, but emotionally. Stripped of the confidence she used to wear like armor. "I'm sorry," she said, voice steady but quiet. No excuses, no justification. "I didn't see what I was doing to you until you stopped being there." I studied her for a moment. For once, she wasn't asking me to fix anything. She was taking responsibility. And that changed everything. A week later, I walked back into the office, not as someone uncertain, but as someone who knew his worth. Ryan glanced up, a small smile forming. "You ready this time?" I nodded. The promotion offer was still there, and this time, I accepted it. Not because I needed validation, but because I earned it. Sophia called that evening. Her voice carried the same calm confidence, but there was something warmer now. "So," she said lightly, "did you go back to your old life?" I looked around my apartment. No," I replied. "I built a new one." She smiled. I could hear it. And somehow, that felt like the beginning of something real. I still saw my family, but differently. Short visits, clear limits, no more fixing what wasn't mine to fix. And slowly, they adjusted. Not perfectly, but enough. Because this time, they didn't have a choice, and neither did I. So, what would you choose? Fix everything for your family? Or finally choose yourself? Forgive your sister? Or walk away for good? Stay loyal? Or set boundaries? Was I strong? Or just selfish? Whose side are you on? Comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more real emotional stories.